Okay, I think we're live. Well, we'll know we're live after we do 20 minutes and then nothing happens. And then we'll go back. Anyway, so if we are live, we're here with Marcus and Christine.
And Chico.
And Chico and Mojo, who's going to be a good boy today. And we're just here for a few minutes today, though, just to talk about cannabidiol and how it relates to seizures. A lot of people ask us, they have dogs that are having focal seizures, convulsive seizures. And it's a tough thing, especially if you're a dog owner who you've never seen it before. In fact, I think I was by your house. They're neighbors of mine. And I walked by and Chico was having a seizure, I think. And you were like, he's having a seizure in the couch. Imagine someone sees that for the first time. It's like a wicked thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we're here today. We're going to talk about that. We haven't done a Facebook Live in, actually I did one yesterday. I did one with Mojo yesterday with the de-shedding tool. But today we're going to talk about CBD, and it's good to be back in front of the people who are really interested in natural products. So it's Saturday, and I think you guys, in the middle of everything you guys are doing, to come in and talk a little bit about, how it helped. But a little background is, you guys are multi-dog owners.
Yes.
You had a Great Dane like me.
Yes.
Vixen, who was beautiful. And then you have Leo at home, who's a mixed breed of, we don't know.
And we rescued him.
And you rescued him. Marcus is an officer, and it's real life, not when he's sitting here. He's off the job. But he's an officer, and he's rescued some dogs in the past and brought dogs that you see out at night. Leo was a rescue. Christine is actually a bank robber. That's how they met. And so, no, she never robbed a bank ever, as far as we know. And so having multiple dogs and, trying to have the best lifestyle for them is super important, for all of us. I have two big dogs, and using the right products is super important for us. So I don't want to rush through it too quick. But what happened when you first saw Chico having the seizure?
Well, Chico is 16 years old.
Imagine 16. I know. 11 years older than you.
He had never had seizures before, but he's getting up there in age, and I think you noticed it first.
Yeah, pretty much. I was sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden you hear he was like,
They make
that noise.
They make a weird noise.
Never heard that noise come out of him before. And walked over there, and he's literally stuck in that position to where he couldn't move. And I took him out of the cage and took him outside, and I put him down, and he started walking backwards.
Wow.
Yeah, his neck was stuck, looking this way.
Wow.
It was terrible. For 20-30 minutes he was stuck.
So seizures are convulsive or they're focal. Focal usually is when a dog sits and stares at a wall. Mm-hmm. You've been around veterinarians. You're a vet tech. You worked in a vet office for a while, and you've seen all these kind of things. So focal seizures more where they're just focusing on something. They're usually just stuck on a wall or something. Mojo, you're blocking Chico. It's not all about you, boy. And a convulsive seizure, come on, sit down and behave in front of everybody. Behave, come on, boy. And a convulsive seizure is when they're really hyperactive and their bodies are convulsing. And that's kind of a scary thing because if you haven't seen that before.
Right.
In some cases, it's not really as dangerous. Sometimes if they're in a safe place and they just go through it, it's, I'm going to say it's okay, but it's usually not as bad as it looks, but people do panic. And anyway, so the CBD, this is what Mojo is looking at, by the way. He's focused. He's focused on one of our King Kong Crunch cookies, our new formula, which are back out next week. And anyway, so seizures are caused by just hyponeuroactivity. The brain starts, it's almost in a hyperactive stage. And then the rest of the body goes with it. The neurological system is kind of on warp drive. So what cannabidiol does is it's got compounds in the oil that actually help to calm down or relax the triggers that cause seizures. It's not 100% sure how and why it happens. But back to 1975, they were doing studies on how cannabidiol actually works for humans that were having grand mal seizures and super aggressive seizures, and it shows that, of course, no THC, low CBD. THC is not really proven to be a seizure helper or cure, but the cannabidiol is what has the medicinal aspect in it. So what happened was we were hoping that with Chico that we'd be able to give him something natural, not that I have anything against the veterinary, but some of the toxic or synthetic drugs.
Right.
What happens is when you go to the veterinarian with a dog that's having a seizure, one of the things they do to try to stop that is give them a drug called phenobarbital. Phenobarbital is synthetic. It's got a half-life of about 8 hours, so about every 8 or so hours you're having to dose the dog, and then what happens also is you have to go in for blood panels all the time to check the toxicity and the blood toxicity rather of the dog. So it's not that it's all bad, but most people are looking for a natural cure. So Marcus came and said, hey, look, we want to try the cannabidiol right away. This had just happened. We were actually getting ready to go to Global Pet Expo last month, so it's been about a month.
Yeah.
Chico's been seizure-free except for one small seizure in the last month.
Yes.
And
he was getting them before
Every
that.
Come on,
It was like once every 2 days or once every day. Yeah.
you're a camera hog.
So
Once every day or once every 2 days,
Yeah.
and that's from what you saw.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when you're not home, you
Correct.
don't know what was happening.
Correct.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's kind of scary. So you started the natural product, and I called you guys from Global Expo. I think I sent you a text message and said, how is Chico doing? You said he hasn't had one
No.
seizure. And you started on the weekend. You said, let's see how he does during the week. And look, man, look at you.
Teeth, no teeth.
17 times 7. What is that? Yeah, 90, almost 100 and something years
He's
old.
an old man.
You're up there, but you're
Yeah.
still, he runs around the neighborhood,
He's still kicking.
right? When the doors,
He's still kicking. I think he's getting a little deaf because when you walk behind him, I'm like, hey, Chico, and you pick him up, he'll like jump.
He gets
Yeah,
startled.
Yeah.
he gets startled. So I think he's losing his hearing a little bit, but
well, that's okay.
He's still
Mojo is
kicking.
only 6, and he can't hear half the things I'm saying, especially when I say sit down.
selective hearing.
Yeah, selective hearing. So anyway, it's probably like a big frame of Mojo in the frame, you know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm very thankful for you guys that you came in. But okay, so our cannabidiol is suspended in krill oil, right? So if you didn't know or you do know, one of the reasons he probably likes it is because that oily, fishy taste. Some dogs don't.
Yeah.
One of my dogs at home is a huge fish eater. Mojo's not necessarily. But the krill oil's super effective because it's a good delivery for the cannabidiol. Something interesting that I actually just am learning more about is how dogs don't make omega-3 on their own. Like they don't make it naturally.
Yeah.
So an additive of omega-3, which is a high fatty acid, which is super good for their joints, their skin, their fur, how actually even they metabolize fat. So the krill oil is high in omega-3. It's a good delivery for the cannabidiol, and also krill oil has cannabinoids in it, so it's pretty uber effective. I think we're the only company in the world, I venture to say, that's suspending cannabidiol in krill oil. So it's pretty awesome. And then we also do a super high grade of lavender, and the lavender is medically proven to help your dog kind of calm down, relax. Lavender is relaxing, whether you spray it on your pillow.
Right.
If you ingest small amounts, it can become very relaxing. So between those 3 compounds, it's like it's obviously really effective. Now the thing is, you haven't given them anything else.
No, nothing.
So there's nothing like we can't say, well, it could have been
Right.
this.
Nothing else.
You didn't change his
He
diet.
changed nothing.
You didn't change anything. So you're about, man, so we've been doing cannabidiol for years now. In some capacity, working with veterinarians, animal hospitals, dog behaviorists, groomers, pet owners just like yourself and me, and we've had dozens and dozens of stories on dogs with seizures.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they change the dog's diet, or if you're changing maybe some kind of medication or supplement, then it can change the dynamic of what we're actually trying to figure out is it just the cannabidiol. But in your case, and in most cases, as the people I deal with, it was just the cannabidiol.
That's it.
So now that the goal is to continue to give it to him, let's see how he takes it. This is pretty simple. It's just an oral syringe, and you find the dose. It comes with a dosing chart.
Right. So we started him off with 2 milliliters when we first started for about a week, and then moved it down to 1.
So it's a small amount. It's pretty effective, especially for a small
Right.
dog.
Yeah, he's running like 4 pounds.
Yeah, and he actually likes the taste of it enough to lick it. Look at you, little Chico.
A little bit. When we first did it, he didn't like the syringe going into his face.
Because it's different.
But once he started actually tasting what was in it, he was like, it was nonstop.
Yeah.
Ooh,
He's
there it is.
she's a big fan.
Look at you. There it is. All over mommy's face and everything. Well, so we have people who take, and by the way, there's a lot of CBD companies out there.
Right.
I just urge people to check who you're buying it from. Is it lab tested? I'll tell you something about a hemp plant. You do some growing in the backyard, not hemp or anything other than peppers and tomatoes. Make that perfectly clear. Officer Marcus is only growing vegetables and produce, but hemp is called a bioaccumulator. So what that means is those roots grab everything that's in the ground and it absorbs it. That could be metals, pesticides, solvents, anything that's non-organic, of course, that's going to come in through the roots. So it's super important that when you get a CBD, you have one that's checked for pesticides and solvents and metals, all the things I just said. A lot of metals in the ground, especially overseas. So you want to always make sure you're getting a cannabidiol that has lab tests for purity. You know there's nothing else foreign in there. And again, the solvents and pesticides, because what we're trying to do is give the dog a natural alternative, not now add things that we really don't want them to have in there anyway. So people use CBD for themselves, for anxiety, for arthritis, for seizures, and it's the same thing in animals. People, animals, cats, down to single cell animals have the same endocannabinoid system, works the same type of way. Once the cannabinoids in our systems are at a good balance, our bodies work way more effectively. So on top of it being also a great antioxidant, even for us, but for our dogs, it's a super healthy supplement, almost like a daily supplement. But here's my pet peeve, because I was going to mention this, is that someone messaged us the other day that said her little puppy was still super active even though she was giving her cannabidiol. What can I do? And I hope she's not watching this, but I want to grab her through the phone or whatever I have in my hands, and we're not trying to calm down a newborn puppy or even a puppy at 8-9 weeks or 3 months old. If you don't want an active puppy, then you should get a parakeet, maybe a hamster. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because puppies are active.
Yeah, they are.
For a long time, up to 2 years.
And then they do this all day.
Right.
And the idea is that we want happy, loving, active puppies. And by the way, it's also not a cure for ripping up the kitchen, tearing through the cages. This is something that comes with good exercise. The more exercise you give a dog, the less stress and anxiety they have. Cannabidiol is a way to help calm their neural system if they're having situations like this, or during training, normal functions, and of course wellness. Anxiety, yes, it can help relax the neural system during fireworks, thunderstorms, and things like that. But it's not a training device to stop bad behavior. It's not a Band-Aid like that. And my God, don't try to calm down a new puppy. That's the best years of your life.
Correct.
Puppies running everywhere, and those puppy breath. Unless those little needle teeth grab you by the throat and hang by your throat and then rip your throat open. By the way, I say that because that happened to me with my boxer. Yeah, those little needle teeth. So, but anyway, so this was just a quick impromptu little chat today about cannabidiol because Chico's so close to me, and I wanted us to share Chico's story. And I know there's millions, not thousands, there's millions of dogs out there that at a certain age, and Chihuahuas it's popular in their breed, right, to get seizures.
Yeah, it's because they're mixed with little wolf, foxes.
So it's their heritage and history. But it happens to all kind of dogs. Boxers tend to get seizures. We see it in labs at a certain age, but it's usually the smaller ones. Yeah. And so again, thanks guys for coming in.
This stuff has been,
lifesaver.
Insane.
And I think happy dog parents that are going through something bad with their dogs, it's tough for the family in particular. So if it can help in that aspect too and help the whole family, and you guys are going to go on a little Disney vacation this weekend, and you know that Chico's situated well, right?
Absolutely.
So you're not going to worry about him as much.
Absolutely.
Well, enjoy your vacation.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for coming in on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Workout clothes and all. And I'm going to get back to work, and we'll see you guys in a bit.
All right.
See you.
Bye, guys. Say goodbye, Mojo. Bye, Mojo.